Welcome to the Build and Inspire podcast. We meet incredible people building amazing things, so you'll be inspired to build what you're passionate about.
The one thing that's been a game changer, though, is the mic.
What kind of mic is that?
The Yeti Nano.
Okay, huh.
And then this is like a $10 arm from like Amazon or eBay.
Oh, okay. Amazon's where it's at. All the stores
yeah.
are losing money because of Amazon.
Oh, heck yeah. But I also feel like really cool. Like I want to start giving you the weather. It's going to be bright and sunny in Southern California right now. Like,
oh, yes. Yeah, I can totally see you. You have a good like voice just in general. Like
really? I
like,
think so I was watching your video on like how to be presentable on camera and all that kind of, and I'm like, this is really good because I still don't listen to myself. Like I don't listen to any interviews. People send me footage of my speaking gigs and I'm just like, cool.
yeah.
I still get nervous. And I'm like, oh, I shouldn't have said that. And I should have said this. And like,
I mean, I think that's the word, like, especially now with texting and just emailing and just stuff like that, people avoid talking on the phone. And I'm like a voice memo person. So even when I have like a quick thing to say, I don't want to text. I just want to like send a voice message to like friends but people don't like to do that because they don't want to hear their voice. And I'm like, it's just so much easier because I'm constantly typing emails. So like, I might as well like save some time with texting and just like send a quick voicemail.
Yes.
Yeah.
When you were so all my Latin American friends, so I'm wondering if you saw this when you were down there recently, they all do like a walkie-talkie kind of thing. Like whether they're using iMessage or they're using WhatsApp or whatever, like, hola hijo, ¿cómo está? ¿Qué te pasa? And then they message me back. And like, that's how and at first I'm like, oh, I don't want to do this. And then I'm like, this is really cool. And I'm seeing it catch on here. Like a lot of my friends in New York are doing it now. Like, hey, what's up? Heading over soon. And I'm like, all right, cool. Basically, like, remember old Nextels?
Yes. Well, now they have an app called Marco Polo. I don't know if
I saw that.
And my friend was sending something to his mom, and I'm like, that's exactly what I would do back in the day to you. Like, I would just send videos, like, just to catch up with my friend from back home. And then he's like, yeah, but this is different because it just like lives on the app. And I'm like, no, it's not.
No, it's not.
Like, okay, whatever. But yeah, I feel like more people are like catching on to just like recording voice messages or videos and sending them to their loved ones. You know?
No, I even tried House Party with my family. Did you see that one? Basically, before iMessage decided to like have multiple people on like one FaceTime, basically they were doing that. And every time you would talk, like you'd pop up, kind of like Zoom, but just for your phone. And it worked like 50% of the time.
And the other time it was just like
complete disaster. And then my grandparents would think like it was their cell phone. And I'm like, oh, I don't know what to do now.
Oh my God. Or like you accidentally want to send it to one person, the video, and then you send it to the whole family and it's like the gossip.
My family does not understand group chats or group texts or anything. They're always messaging back and forth. They're like, how do I get out of this? Hello? And then they start talking to me, but I'm like, everyone else could see this. Not that they're saying anything bad, but it's like now you're annoying everyone else.
Yeah. Well, the only bad thing I guess about that is like you can't fix something if you accidentally send the wrong message to somebody, because I've done that where I vented to somebody and it was I recorded a video and then I sent it to the person I was like talking about. It was there was no way for me to get out of that. It's probably the worst feeling ever.
It's like the equivalent in business when people reply all when they mean to just reply. So I never use reply all or reply. I hit forward. So I hit forward and then I'll write in the email. I'll write the email address of the person I want to message. So that if they reply back or anything like that, it's up to them to go ahead and add it and they can't make a mistake and I won't make a mistake.
That's smart. I've never thought about that.
Yep.
Oh God.
I'm doing the same thing I would as a reply. The only thing I hit forward. So I'm like, there's no way that unless I type in their email that it's going to go to the person it's not supposed to.
Yeah. Oh, that's a good note. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now I'm working with so many like clients that there's been times where like I'll review the email, but I still get scared. And so I like undo really quickly. And I'm like, Karla, are you sure? Like, even though I know I'm sure and that I put everything that I needed to, I like I second guess myself sometimes. So I'm like, into let me just read it again. Like,
Sure. No, I still do that. I do that all the time, to be honest, because I'm also very cognizant and just concerned about how I come off on email. Like, I don't want someone, just that happens on text too. Like, I don't want it to seem curt or anything like that. So if you don't know me or like the way I engage or the way I speak, you might think I'm being curt. And that happens with literally everyone. So I
oh
always
yeah.
read it and then I'm like, did I put too many smiley faces here?
I feel like I did that with you this morning because I tend to be very like short with text messaging because I'm
Mhm.
not a texter. And you were like, "Good morning," like you were very like friendly, and then I was like, "Oh," like I was just very direct, like, "Here's the link to the," and then I'm like, "Karla, you didn't even say
No,
like,
no,
what's
no.
your thing going?"
With me, you absolutely never have to worry.
Oh,
But as I was prepping for this, I was just like just watching your videos and everything, and like I'm like I'm smiling this whole time. Like I that's if I had to take one thing away from like all your content and your videos, I just watch them and I'm like, okay, I know people can't see me, but I just have like the big Kool-Aid smile, and I'm like, this is cool. This is awesome. Like I just that's what I tweeted right before this. I'm like, as I'm prepping, I'm just smiling. Like
oh, that's
that's what I
good.
get from your content.
I'm glad. I mean, I just make content to make people happy and like to
Mhm.
put out. I love storytelling, so I hope that with that, it gives different emotions. Like I don't know, some of my videos have been more on like the sensitive side, but then I always make sure to leave like with a positive note. Like I never,
Mhm.
if I have something to say about like life or something that I'm going through or a message that I want people to know about, I always try to like end it with a bang and be like, okay, like yes, this sucks, but in the end, like at the end of the day, everything's gonna be okay, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
Uh, yeah.
How did you get started? Was it I think did you I think one of your videos you said like you've been doing this for 7 years
Oh,
as a
was it
YouTuber.
7? Yeah,
I think that's maybe I'm wrong.
no, no, I because it was 6, but like a year has already passed. Like I've in my head, I'm like, yeah, I've been doing this for 6 years, but I haven't even kept track that I think I am going on 7 or I am on.
Mhm.
Um,
I mean, if you would
yeah,
have said, I mean, 3 years is a long time.
yeah.
Like,
I
you
mean,
know,
well,
to
I'm aging
7,
myself, but
6.
I've been doing this since I was 20, and I'm 27 now. So yeah, 7. Oh my God, yeah. It's been a long time, but I barely started kind of seeing the side of YouTube where I'm like, oh, I could do this full time if I really set my mind to it for
Mhm.
about 2 years. Like in
Yes.
2016. Like that's when I kind of started thinking like, oh wait, I shouldn't name my vlog like I had fun because like nobody is searching that. Like I need to name my video like 10 ways to have fun during the summer. Like
Yeah.
more like thinking about it in more of like a marketing standpoint. That's
Yeah.
when I started getting serious 2 years ago. But in terms of like a personal journey, kind of like my own diary and a way to connect and with others and use my voice.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's been 7 years, so that's a long time.
So 7 years since you've actually picked up the camera and started recording.
Yeah, yeah.
Were you doing anything beforehand? Like, did you have a blog where you used to write or a
No,
journal? It was
no.
just like you went straight to camera.
Yeah, yeah. I know. Well, I mean, I always wanted to be on camera. Like
Mhm.
I started off actually because I wanted to be a journalist, and I was taking all these um on camera classes, broadcasting classes, and I just hated having to watch myself again and in front of so many people.
Yep.
Um, and I just wasn't as confident when it came down to the assignments. Like I was awesome at writing and putting a story together, but when it was on camera, I just hated that aspect of it, but I really wanted it. So I was like, okay, if you really want something, you have to put the time and effort into it. What I was missing was like my on-camera presence,
Sure.
open with other people. And I feel like as a journalist, you have to be kind of raw. And I'm
Yeah.
like, okay, well, the only way I'm going to step out of my comfort zone is to like put myself in front of a camera, which is already embarrassing and awkward enough.
Yep.
So I just started doing that, and then I enjoyed it because I was connecting with people and I was making friends who were doing the same thing as me.
Mhm.
It was a good community to be in.
Well, I mean, your community is awesome. Like some of the most recent videos, or even your trip to Guatemala, you brought, I don't know if if your friend was a YouTuber too, but you have like so many YouTuber content creator friends. And it was the Guatemala video. I loved it when your friend was dancing.
Oh, okay. What, Jaden? Yeah.
I think it was Jaden. Yeah. Yeah. He was
Yeah,
dancing with someone.
Yes, yes, with my aunt. That is funny. Yeah, see, the thing is, he's not a content creator, but I've gotten my family and my really close friends
Mm-hmm.
to get used to the fact that I'm going to probably pull out a camera at some point when we're hanging out.
Mm-hmm.
And they're so supportive about it. It took a while. Like at first my family's like, this is weird.
Yeah.
But then they saw how passionate I was and that it wasn't just like a little hobby for me. At
Mm-hmm.
first it was, but when they now, when I was in Guatemala, I was creating content and I was doing it so I made sure that it wouldn't take away time from my family because I
Yeah,
hadn't
I
been in
understand.
Guatemala in a long time. In my head, I was like, okay, if I'm going to go to this place, these are the shots that I need to get. So I was kind of already planning in my head, but none of them knew.
Oh,
I
interesting.
didn't want to take time away from them. So
Yeah, of course.
I do it so casually that they don't even notice. And then they get involved in my content
That's
without
amazing.
me having to put pressure on it. So it's really awesome. Yeah.
So you're kind of like training, indoctrinating them without them knowing little by little.
Oh,
Next thing,
yeah.
all of a sudden, you see your mom with like her own vlog and everything, and your
Well,
dad in Spanish.
yeah. Well, I actually recently made a documentary about my mom.
Is it
Yeah,
live?
it is. I'll
Oh,
send
I
the link
missed it.
to you. I haven't. Well, it's unlisted because I submitted it to a contest.
Oh,
Um,
all right.
yeah, so I'm waiting to release it publicly. But that was cool because a lot of people that wouldn't originally be on camera
Mm-hmm.
were on camera for this project of a personal project for me,
Mm-hmm.
and it was cool because I kind of got to be more of the director, and I wasn't in front of the camera, and I always wanted I wanted to shake them up and be like, it's not that hard to be in front of the camera, and then I had to realize wait, that was me 7 years ago when I hated
Yeah,
being
yeah.
so how am I going to train them to kind of get used to it? So it was fun.
Your video though, I love everything you were sharing, like just practicing, standing in front of the mirror, talking positively, like just doing it. I even had the idea as you were as I was watching them. I'm like, someone should take a picture of like their best friend or their mom or something and put it on top of the camera and like
I
pretend they're talking to them,
Yes.
right?
No. Yeah. No. That's a great tip, just in general, because
I
when
just
I
thought of it. You inspired me, so I have to
well,
give you the credit.
I mean, when I started vlogging, sometimes I would pretend like I'm talking to my friends.
Mm-hmm.
Even now, when I get nervous, and I don't get so nervous in terms of how I feel in front of the camera, but I recently shot a video for a nonprofit that I'm working for. I'm a brand ambassador for them,
Mm-hmm.
and I didn't want to say the wrong thing because it was
Sure.
for Giving Tuesday, and so it's a lot of informative stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And when I first started, my friend was helping me film, so I was just pretending like I was talking to him, and I was like, "Hey, I have something exciting to tell you." And then I started with the script aspect of things, but yeah, I always try to just pretend there's nobody watching me and that I'm just talking to my friends. Because I mean, at the end of the day, my subscribers are very like my friends. They're very
Yeah,
supportive, and
yeah.
I have I hear a lot of content creators, talking about their audience, and sometimes they don't have the nicest one, but I feel like I got pretty lucky.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if it's because of the content that I put out there. Like you said, it's very positive,
Mm-hmm.
but I tend to get very like-minded and positive people following me, so that's good.
That's amazing. I have to ask because we all know how dreaded the comment section in YouTube could be. I've trained myself to not look at them. So when I was looking at your videos, I've never looked at them. How is your comment section?
Whew, well,
It's so scary.
yeah, well, yeah, up until 2 months ago, I had the nicest subscribers ever, like I was saying.
Mm-hmm.
But one of my videos ended up on Reddit, and it was a very it wasn't a personal video, but it was a video about dating. So I try to do I've been trying to do more self-development videos, and last year I was more focused on doing conversational videos, and
Okay.
so I did a video called 6 reasons why I quit online dating. And of course there's going to be opinions about that, and
Of
I was
course, of course.
and so it ended up on some women hating page,
Oh,
and it
really? On
yeah,
Reddit?
on Reddit,
Oh,
on one of the
in
threads.
Reddit.
It was the comments were so bad. I mean, just think about the worst things that a woman could be called, or
I'm
on their
sorry.
appearance and everything. It
I'm
was pretty
sorry.
bad. Yeah, no worries. I mean, I took it like a boss, and it honestly didn't bother me. There was
Yo,
moments where I was like, oh my god, this person's horrible, but I think I've just built the confidence up, especially on camera, and I kind of it was I built all these years. I guess I was like not waiting, but I knew a moment like
It's
that
gonna
was
happen.
come,
Yeah.
and I was already prepared for it. So I just like deleted the comments. At first I was reading them and I was actually laughing at some of them. They were
Uh-huh.
pretty funny. Like they were rude, but I don't, it takes a lot to offend me. So I was like, whatever. But yeah, at the end of the day, I was just like, okay, it's over. Like I'm not getting mean comments anymore. I knew it was bound to happen at least once.
No, and as you become more popular, it's gonna happen. It just happens to everyone, right? It doesn't matter who you are. That's why I
Oh,
never look at you. I don't make videos really until now that I'm recording things like this, but I never look at the comment section ever because I just, even when I worked on like Oreo or Trident, I'm like, there's no there's no reason to look at YouTube comments at all. Like everyone's just gonna hate on something.
see, I would be surprised. I would think you would have to just because you were working in marketing and you want to see like what the audience and everyone is saying. Like,
So we definitely did,
okay.
and there was people. So I'm a what happened actually on Oreo was very interesting. We had a company called ICUC that monitored Oreo, all Oreo social media pages, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, holidays, doesn't matter, all year round in 4 or 5 different local languages around the world, everything from Mandarin to English, Spanish, and so on and so on. So I technically didn't always have to look, but we would always get reports and then we'd look on Facebook and things like that. But YouTube from the very beginning never gave us anything worth using. Facebook, amazing content, amazing feedback of what people wanted, what they liked, what they didn't like, all that kind of good stuff. YouTube,
Wow. See,
nothing. Like they just
that's
hate on you. They just hate. Like they should have cut this short. They should have made this shorter. That person, whoever's uploading these things, doesn't know what they're doing. Or like Oreo's taking over the world. Like
oh my god. Or first comment, and I'm like,
yeah. Oh, does that see? I haven't because I haven't looked. That used to happen all the time.
yeah, that's something I've actually trained my subscribers not to do that because like in the beginning some of them would, and it was cute because it was very like I had a younger audience at the time, and they would be like
Mhm.
mom. They'd call me like mom or queen, and I loved my little
That
ones.
I love that. That is awesome.
Yeah. And so sometimes they'd be like first, and I'd be like great, and like at first I was like oh, but at the same time I wanted feedback because I was like guys, I'm not gonna like I want to know like yeah I know you guys like think I'm awesome, but I actually want to like earn your your
Yeah,
trust,
yeah, yeah.
just like my content, not just because like you saw me from day one and you like love me already. Like I can do anything bad and you're still gonna love me. I don't want to be that content creator.
No, no, that makes sense. I think actually on Oreo, we did one where we wrote like the status update was first, and
Oh
then
my,
just seeing what everyone was doing. And I think that was fun. Those are like some of my best memories, just doing like cute little posts like that.
yeah, just having fun with it.
Yeah, just seeing what people would say, and people loved it. Like just because Oreo is such a like a fun little brand. But what's if you had to and like give an elevator speech of like the kind of content that you produce and your YouTube channel, what would you call it?
So I would say that it's a self-development and adventure channel, but it teaches people to like let go of their fears and just
Hmm.
do. Um, I feel like because it has been a personal journey for me, people have seen the growth, and now in myself and like my personal journey, and now
Hmm.
I'm able to teach that to people and like really tell them to like just be bold and go out there and like let go of fears. And that doesn't mean that we don't have fears,
Sure.
but that we like own up to them, and they're like, and we say okay, well how are we going to let go of this? And I say we because like for me my subscribers are like a community, and so if I'm out there doing something to step out of my comfort zone, I want them to also do that. Like I want to inspire them to do the same, not just watch me and be entertained. So yeah, that
That's
would be,
amazing. So they could take something away from it, like
yeah.
inspiration to do something.
Hmm.
That's amazing. That's why, I mean, as the listeners know, that's why I created Build and Inspire. And it was from a podcast I listened to where there was a psychologist talking about the ways to get people to do things. And if you want someone to make a positive change in your life, in their lives, you need to inspire them. It's really the only way. If you want people not to do something, then you scare them. So that's why you actually see on cigarette packages people with like diseases and things like that, because you scare them to deter something. But if you want positive change, you inspire.
Yeah, and I feel like with inspiring too, it's like you have to not just talk but show. And I
Yes.
think the great thing about I guess being like an influencer or being like showing more of like your life and documenting your journey. Because I don't know, there's been certain creators that I follow that I don't really know how they got to where they're at. I just know
Yeah.
they're big and successful. And then I'm like, and I inspire to be like them, but at the same time I'm like, wait, I want to know like your backstory. I want to know like your fails and like how you made it this far. I don't want to just see like the success aspect of things.
Yeah.
So being able to like tell people like this is where I was at, this is where I'm at now, but like let me teach you, let me show you how I got here. I really enjoy that type of content. So I hope that that is something that I can continue to do with my content. Just because as like a vlogger, it is hard sometimes in terms of like not telling people, like sometimes I just show them the journey, but then I get stuck in that, like, am I just entertaining or am I actually teaching something? Because I think that as a creator, you're constantly having to teach something or provide value of some sort.
Sure. No, I definitely think you do both, right? Like I said, like I'm learning and I'm smiling as I'm watching your videos. I'm like,
Well, thank you.
and I'm sure everyone else. After this, I'm gonna dive into your comment sections on YouTube.
Oh man. Yeah, go to that one video. So maybe you can defend me.
No, I'll just be standing up for you. I'll be like, what are you saying, or heard? What are you doing, jerk?
Oh, it's funny. Thank you.
No, of course. I think, and like you said, like the community you're building is so amazing. Like the other YouTubers that you're collaborating with and everything, how are you meeting them? Because I think that's something I get asked, like, hey, how are you getting your guests? How do you collaborate with people? So how are you working with people? Is it just fans that find you randomly, you reach out to them?
It's through Twitter most of the time. Like a lot of my friends now, and a lot like my content creator friends that also make YouTube videos, I just found them through watching their content and not being afraid to just send them a message and say like, hey, I really love your content. And then also I think you have to like talk people up and in a very genuine way, but just being like, hey, this is what caught my attention about your content. And then kind of starting off from there and building a genuine relationship by engaging with their content, reposting their content, and just providing value to them and talking to them. So I've done it through like social media most of the time. Like I watch their videos, and then there's even been some people who don't make videos, but I really like their Instagram content.
Oh,
And
interesting.
now with Instagram, like being a video platform
Yeah.
place, I'll message them there. And then even though we're on different platforms, there's still a way to like collaborate somehow. Like I did this like Instagram, it was kind of like a live podcast. Well, it was just a live, but one of this like fashion blogger, she invites people into her space, into her Instagram live, and then like I'm on her podcast kind of thing. So just kind of like building those relationships, it doesn't matter what platform, but just creating those authentic relationships. And I've done it all through social media, or even like networking in the conference, like different types of conferences.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Like there's this a conference called VidCon.
Okay.
And it happens here, and so just making friends there, and then continuing to build relationships. Because I feel like people don't follow up. You meet somebody and then you're just like, okay, I'm done. But you really have to like any relationship, it takes time, and you have
and it goes two ways.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I'm not going to be like sending them messages like, hey, I really like your content. And they're like never replying. I'm like, okay, bye.
Yeah. No, that happens to me because I reach out to people all the time, and sometimes I get responses and sometimes I don't. But I try to do the whole thing where like if I want to get in contact with someone, I'll like everything on their page. And like just trying to be like, look at me.
Yeah, like I slid into your DMs. I'm here.
Yeah, exactly. You saw me already, the guy who liked 50 of your posts from 5 years ago. I'm actually doing that with Vanilla Ice right now. I have like this goal where I am only like an hour away from Vanilla Ice. And I guess I'll give this away. I don't know if you've noticed on my Twitter account or my Instagram account for Build and Inspire, I put business quotes and then I put the name of whoever gave the quote, but they're really just songs. Like they're Miley Cyrus lyrics. Or the last one I did was Yeah, the last one I did was a Grease song, and then I'll find like the artist's real name, and then I'll put it there.
That
And
is so clever.
the first one I did, and it was Vanilla Ice, and then all of a sudden I'm like, I want to get Vanilla Ice on this podcast.
That's a good goal to have. Like, I feel
That's
like
just my goal.
what's that one person you want on your podcast, and you're gonna make it happen.
It's Vanilla Ice, and like Vanilla Ice, strangely, has always been in my life. So I used to give a lot of product demos, right? For when I sold like social media listening and social media management tools. And my background was 2 pieces of ice and a baby. And I used to always put it up on the screen right before a demo and see who would get it and who wouldn't.
Ice,
It was
ice,
fun.
baby.
Yep.
How can you not get that?
Yep.
So he's gonna be on your podcast for sure.
Yeah. 100%. And when he's on it, I'm also gonna like, I want to do it. Like, I have this vision. It's gonna be on location. I'm gonna bring Truth, my pug, and like she's gonna come, and we're gonna have a whole day of creating content and hanging out. And maybe I'll move in with Vanilla Ice, and maybe like we'll produce a song together, and then.
Wow, he in your head. He's already your roommate, your best friend.
Oh yeah, 100%. He's my roommate.
Oh my god. Yeah.
Eventually, maybe.
What?
What was that? Sorry.
So there's definitely people in my life where I'm like, we would be great friends.
Who's that? Who's? Well, besides who do you want to have on your channel on one of your videos? Like, that's number 1. Number 2, who's like an aspirational person that you like in general, that like you follow and you love their content and you try to model?
Well, I won't say him right now because I don't want to bring down the room. But I really love Samantha Brown.
Okay.
She's on the Travel Channel. I love Anderson Cooper.
Yeah.
And then Oprah Winfrey. Like, those are people that really, like, in my like, I would love for them somehow me do something with them.
Yeah, and they're both and they're all aspirational people too.
Yes, but one of my biggest one was Anthony Bourdain.
Yes.
So yes, like, he was definitely a good storyteller, and I loved everything about him. But one of my like people that I just aspired to be was this Spanish reporter, and his name was Jorge Ramos.
Okay.
And I actually got to like not really do something with him, but I asked a few questions, and then like it appeared on this channel called Univision.
Oh, yeah.
And that was my proudest moment, just as like an adult, where I was like, he answered one of my questions, and that question like appeared on Univision.com. Like, I've made it. Like, I could.
And now your parents know you've made it, because that's the only thing they know. Like Univision, Telemundo.
Yeah, they're like, oh, well, it almost answered one of your questions. You made it, you know?
Yeah,
like,
exactly. Mija, you can stop now.
Yeah, with like $100, my bank account retired. Done.
Yeah, exactly. I have no money, but that's it. I made it. Yeah. I have to bring something up now that you brought up Anthony Bourdain. So Anthony Bourdain actually says the best cheesesteak, and this is like blasphemous. Like, we're gonna get nasty comments now. Okay. Is in New Jersey, not Philly.
Oh, so, yeah, we're gonna get some hate.
Yeah, well, this is what Anthony Bourdain said. Here's the problem. This is something I have to pick a bone with you. Is you were eating deep dish Chicago style pizza, and to me, being from New York, New Jersey, that's blasphemous. We don't call that pizza.
You don't call deep dish pizza?
No, it's like it's a baked good with like this much bread and this much cheese. It has to be like, medium. And if it's going to be thicker, it has to be Sicilian. I was watching you eat it, and I'm like, oh, no. He has to come to New York, and we have to, like, hang out and get some really good New York-style pizza.
Okay, well, you're going to have to prove me wrong on that, because that pizza, my friend had been talking about it nonstop when she finally invited me over, because she has her parents fly her pizzas from Lou's, Chicago.
Really?
Is it Lou's? Oh, my gosh, she's going to hate me.
I don't know. Oh, no. Now people are going to hate on us now.
Lou Malnati's. There you go. Lou
okay.
and then Malnati's.
All right. So,
and that pizza was so good. But
here's the thing I have to say. It's not bad. It's very good. It's just not pizza.
It's more like a pie.
Exactly.
Okay, I can give you that.
Which is, in New York, it's funny. We call it a pizza pie.
Okay.
And I'm having a pie. But that is like a pie, like thick.
Like deep dish pizza.
Yeah. So in New York, we don't. Chicago, that's that thing that they eat.
Yeah. See, the thing is, people are gonna hate me more though, because I went to Philly and I had some Philly cheesesteak. I go in. Yeah. Which one?
Pat's or Geno's? They're across from one
Uh,
another on South
it
Street.
wasn't Pat or it wasn't Chino's. Oh my God, what was it?
The great divide too.
Oh man, yeah, people are gonna hate me. But regardless, I wasn't a fan of cheesesteak in general. Like, yeah, I know. I'm not a steak lover. I only did it because I wanted to be cultured, and I was like, I can't go to Philly and go. But see, this is where
True.
I did
Well, I'm
wrong.
glad you did it though. You had
Yeah,
it.
but the thing I did wrong is I put I think it was like American. I used the wrong type of cheese. It was supposed to be whiz.
Oh yes, I know. I don't know that much about it, but I do know that.
Okay, no.
I know you have
Anyway.
these cheese whiz. Like they order like vats of it, and like
Yeah, and I was like, "Where's the cheese?" I literally was so confused because it was just like meat and bread, and I was like, "Where's the cheese?" Like I
yeah,
was
yeah.
hoping that it would be just like sautéed with a bunch of cheese, and it wasn't.
Did you make a video?
I did,
Is there?
yeah,
All right, I gotta
yeah.
watch that one. That's gonna be awesome.
It's one of my favorites actually because I got really dumb in it. Like
Mhm.
that's the kind of content sometimes I love where I'm not trying to be like a know-it-all or like an expert at anything. I'm just kind of
Mhm.
like having
Just being
fun.
yourself and being
Yeah,
genuine, and yeah, and also just you're experiencing it for the first time and letting people that have never experienced it or those that have like experience it in a different way.
yeah, exactly.
So when it comes to making your videos, one of the hardest things for me is never recording anything. It's editing. How long does it take you? Like you've record for those that can't see your face, you're like,
Yeah,
ugh.
editing can be a nightmare, but it's also a great. I mean, it's the way you story tell with videos. You know, like you
Yeah.
have control over your
What do you
story.
what do you use? Do you use Adobe Final Cut?
I use Adobe. I will never go back to Final Cut.
Oh no, I use Final Cut.
Oh, really?
Yeah, yeah, because that's what I learned in school, in high school. We had like
See,
a
that's what I
multimedia
learned
class.
on. Oh, you did, and you just stayed on
Yeah,
it.
they just had Max, and that's what I used.
But now it's like a newer version, isn't it? I don't.
Yeah, I don't know what it's called. I think it's actually still called. They changed the name of the audio one. What's the Pro Tools? But I think Final Cut is still Final Cut 10
Okay.
X.
Oh, okay. Yeah, like Express or something. It just kind of reminds me of a. I'm being a hater, but it kind of reminds me of an iMovie.
Yeah, you're right. They did simplify it a bit, but I mean, I'm just being a traditionalist. Like, this is what I've always used. But
Yeah.
anyway, sorry. So, from when you create a video, you record it, how long
Okay.
does it actually take you to edit it and then post it? So, like, today you went to Philly, or no, like, today you went to New York, you had the most amazing pizza you ever had in your life. You're like, I'm never going to talk about Chicago pizza, never talk to my friend ever again.
I'm going all for New York pizza.
Exactly. Then
Well,
how soon will that be up, and how long does it take you to edit it?
since would have a plan and I would know what I'd be filming, I probably could edit that type of video in like 3 hours.
Okay.
But most of the time, it's like a 4 to 6 hour edit. That's like also uploading it. Because a lot of the times, like it's just like little things like finding the music.
Yes.
You have to go through all this like database of music and see which one
Yeah.
goes.
Stock free. Yeah.
And then writing the description of the video, tagging. Um,
That
if
takes
you
a long time.
it's just a lot. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like before I could edit a video maybe in an hour if it was just like a simple vlog, like simple cuts. But now that I do more of like, I do a lot of sequences on my videos with different like shots and music just to let it be more like appealing to the viewer.
Mhm.
Um, it does take a while. And I love editing, but it's like a full-time job. I mean, if you think about it, like my
Oh, it
longer
is. Yeah.
version videos, like the most I've ever taken on a video has been about like 16 hours to edit.
Oh, wow. And how
Yeah.
long was that video? Like, how long was the footage? Was it like 5 hours worth of footage, and then you edited it down to like 20 minutes, 30 minutes, or do you
Yeah,
remember?
so it was like 5 hours and then 13 minutes. It was one of my Guatemala videos, and I also did I translated it.
Oh,
So
wow.
I had to do the text, and then I can write Spanish pretty well, but there's some words that I'm like, let me Google this. How do you say
Yeah.
this?
I'm the same way.
So it was just a lot of like little things here and there that required time, like translating that requires a long time. So 16 hours, 5 hours worth of footage, 13-minute video. Yeah.
Wow. Have you been inspired now to make any like 100% Spanish videos?
I have, yeah. And see, that's the thing. When you make a video on YouTube and it does really well, you'll get like a new audience.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of the audience that I got, I went to Guatemala a few months ago, and I produced a lot of videos while I was there, and I got a lot of Spanish speakers on my channel, and so
Mm-hmm.
now I have that, and I would love to create content for them because they sometimes they'll be like, oh, this made me laugh, or I really loved this, but I couldn't really understand it, or I didn't understand it at all, but I still watched it, and I'm like,
Yeah,
it would be nice to have. And I've thought about at least doing like translating it on YouTube, because YouTube allows you to do
that'd be
that.
good. Yeah, yeah.
But I mean, I love when I meet people who speak Spanish like yourself, and I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
yes, I know another person who knows Spanish. Like, I love my first language, so I
Yeah,
definitely
same.
love to make more content, even if it's traveling to different Latin American countries and then translating it in English and doing it
Yeah,
over
yeah.
Spanish. Yeah.
Well, hopefully you'll be able to come down with me and David Berkowitz to Mexico in April for Talento.
That would be so amazing. Yeah, we
Yeah,
would have.
yeah. I got to follow up with them. So I sent them an email, and they're going to take a look at your content. I'm going to send them this too to get you on it.
Oh, perfect. Okay. Yeah. I'm excited just because, as when we first met, you and I was doing a lot of like videography things and trying to get into that,
Mm-hmm.
and trying to balance like my YouTube channel and seeing how I can make it go full time.
Mm-hmm.
But recently I kind of went where, kind of how you said, just kind of like I was doing a lot of I was starting to do public speaking, but I didn't think that I was capable of doing that because I'm like, I don't have that much experience. But then when I realized it, I'm like, wait, I've been doing it for like 7 years.
Oh,
Even
yeah.
if it
This is what
hasn't,
you're doing right now. Yeah.
yeah, like even if it hasn't been filmed or like with a large audience, I'm constantly talking to even small groups of people. And so lately I've just kind of been going where like life takes me, which is a good feeling. Like
Mm-hmm.
I recently started doing more social media like strategy client.
Yeah.
I'm booking a lot of clients for that.
Mm-hmm.
It was one of those things that I had told myself, I'm not doing this anymore. Like I don't want to do social media just because for many reasons.
Sure.
But when like one client decided to hire me, I was like, okay, maybe I can take this on. And then when I felt confident about it again,
Uh-huh.
that more things started kind of showing up in my life. And now I'm doing like strategy and content creation for brands. And it's really awesome because I'm like, I love to do it. I think it was just, when things start slowing down in life, you're like, maybe this isn't meant for me. Like, let me
Yes.
just
Yeah.
move it. And then it just happens. I think with anything, it just takes time.
No, 100%. I think I'm late to like the content game, even though I've been marketing for brands and things like that for like 11 years. Even now I'm seeing a lot more popularity around my content
Mm-hmm.
than a year ago. And it's funny because I was just thinking that too. I was like looking at my analytics and everything, and I'm like, wow, good thing I didn't stop like 6 months in, because I would have been like leaving all these people and all this growth behind. Because there was times when I'm like, get 2 likes on something, and I'm like, all right, I'm never doing this again.
Yeah. But it like I said, anything takes time. And I feel like you're doing so well with your content and you have so much experience and things that people can learn from you.
Mm-hmm.
Um, like just the first day that I talked to you, I learned so much. And I think
Thank
that,
you.
it doesn't really matter about the followers. Like it
It
matters
does.
if
You're right.
you have like 5 people, but like if I have 5 Leos watching my content
Oh
and
no, there shouldn't be 5 Leos.
they're like really supportive and like genuine people who care about like seeing me succeed and just like provide
I
value and just
agree.
be a good genuine person, like I'm like, oh, 5 is enough. I don't need 5 million people who don't really care about like my next
No,
step I'm doing.
I 100% agree with you. I'm on the same boat. How do you still, when you were doing, actually we met because you were doing some public speaking and I saw you, I'm like, I need to get connected with her. Like, do you still, this is a question I get all the time. Do you still get nervous? Do you get
Oh my
nervous at
god,
all? Like,
yes. I still get nervous even like hopping onto this. I mean, not really
no,
this podcast,
I'm
but
the
I
same way. I'm like, what am I going to say?
I mean, just with anything in life, because what are you going to say? Like, are we going to run out of things to talk about? Or like, am I just going to blank out? Because there's been moments where I have so much to say and then I forget. Like, even when I was telling you about like Anthony Bourdain, because it kind of just got me like sad, I literally blanked out, and for a second I was going to forget his name and it just came back into my head. So
Uh-huh.
just like little moments like that where you're so excited about talking about something that that excitement turns into nerves and then it's just like a mess. So because of those thoughts, I think, oh my god, I'm like scared. I don't think I can do it. I'm nervous.
Yeah.
Once you kind of get the hang of things and you forget about the nerves, it's like I love doing it. It's so awesome.
I black out really. Like I don't remember half the things I say. Like after I'm done, it's like I have like an adrenaline rush while I'm up on stage and I'm just talking and talking and talking and people are like, "Hey, remember when you said that thing?" And I'm like, "Nope."
So yeah, blacking out is a great way to put it. I remember I was interviewing this guy. It was one of my first like news internships that I did, and I finally got the opportunity to take the mic and be the one interviewing. I wasn't like the intern, but I got to get the experience.
Yeah.
And I interviewed this guy named Darren Chris, such a sweet guy, by the way. But when I was interviewing him, because I got so scared and I blacked out, my idea of what he was saying, I thought he was being mean. Like I thought he was being like a jerk, right? Like I said something, I was so scared, and I thought he was kind of answering it with like sass or just like I don't want to be here. And I remember ending the interview and I'm like, oh my God, he's such a jerk. Like this felt so uncomfortable, but it was me, because then when I watched the interview, he was the sweetest guy ever.
I see.
Like his tone and everything, he was like, he did so well in the interview. And if he's listening to this, sorry, Darren. Like, yeah, I was like, it's all about how I felt, like, because it was one of my first interviews that I ever did. I was so scared, I was so insecure that I literally just blacked out and was sweating internally and like everywhere, and I just felt like the world was just closing in on me, you know. And so I thought it was like the worst interview I ever did, but it was so good. Like it went well. I don't know what I was thinking.
That happens to me a lot. I recorded a podcast that I was being interviewed on the other day. It was about data analytics and all that kind of stuff. And I was so sick. I was like, I had a cold. Basically, I think I had the flu. I was like chugging Dayquil. And I was like, this is probably the worst thing I ever did. And then I listened to it. I'm like, oh, it's not too bad.
Yeah, we get in our heads a lot. So but I mean, I guess being sick, that's different.
Yeah. And then it's always like, do I cancel? Do I not? Like, even recording these sometimes, I'm like, I don't know when, Karla's going to be available again, or is it going to be bad quality? I'm like, what do I do? And most of the time, truthfully, I'm like, I'm just going to push through.
Yeah. Well, that's awesome that you started the podcast, because I think now, I mean, podcasts are already a popular thing, but I've seen more people starting them just now, like recently. And I mean, that's something that I would want to get into, but I think about like, oh, I don't have the right equipment, or I don't know how I'm going to get started. And it's just kind of good that you just dove into it and making it happen. Like, that's so important.
Well, thank you. But I mean, you know this better than I do. Look at you and your camera equipment. You probably didn't start out with the best things in the world. Didn't probably even did you have a tripod when you started out? What did you record on? Like, how did it, tell us the journey on from a straight technical equipment side.
Yeah, so I had a camera, and it was like more of a point and shoot, but it wasn't HD. It was an SD camera, like my very first one. But I remember my tripod was actually the saddest thing. It was in college, and I would stack up a bunch of books, like my textbooks, and usually like I film like on my bed or on my desk chair, and so I would have the camera on my desk, stacked. I would stack a bunch of books and then put the camera on top of the books.
That's awesome. Do you remember what kind of camera it was?
Oh, I know it was like a Canon. I don't remember which one it was. It was like a Coolpix Canon.
Okay, yeah, like one of like just point and shoots, not I don't even know DSLR. See, I don't know much about equipment.
I mean, now I use a DSLR, but I have a good vlogging camera, and I call it a vlogging camera. It's a point and shoot, with no like lens, but it's a good camera because it's HD and it like shoots in slow-mo. It's great. But now having the DSLR, it's kind of like, why am I going to have this DSLR and still shoot with a point and shoot? But it's so much easier when you're traveling to have a smaller camera. But yeah, even now I sometimes don't use a tripod. I use like a little like a Gorilla Pod. It's much smaller.
Okay. Yeah, and is that the same one that grips?
Yes.
You kind of get a grip on things.
Yeah, exactly.
That's all. So you were stacking things on books, like your camera was on books.
Yeah, like I guess it's like, how did Karla start? Like just a simple camera and books. Books were my tripod. So
that's awesome. When did you decide to like upgrade your equipment? Because I actually was like, how can I do this, not sacrifice quality, but also not spend a lot of money. I didn't want to be the person who goes skiing for one time and then buys all the equipment and like the
Oh,
best equipment and then never goes skiing ever again, right? And I was like, am I gonna have the time? Is it gonna work out or not? So I decided to buy like mid-range equipment. I bought it all on points. Now I'm
okay.
thinking like, when
Oh,
am I
nice.
gonna upgrade? So like, when did you decide that like, all right, you know what? Now I need that grip. I need that DSLR. When did that happen? Was it based on views, emotion, or what?
I guess it was based more on like I'm ready to go out into the world and I don't have a videographer, so sometimes I'm gonna want those shots that require I don't want it just to be handheld. I
Hmm.
want to be able to place the tripod and then do those shots where I'm like walking around town and like somebody's filming me, but it's very it's just a tripod.
Yeah.
So I do like I record like I hit record and then I walk past the camera and it looks
Yeah.
so like
Yeah. Yeah.
I did, but it's not. So because I needed more of those like travel shots, I was like, okay, I need a tripod. And then the influence of friends, like I mean, even recently I was shooting with just a point and shoot.
Hmm.
And I was calling myself, I was working, I mean, I was doing working with brands, shooting stuff for them, but most of the time I would just rent a camera. I didn't have my own. So when I would go into these networking events with people, like people who were vloggers and they had these like fancy cameras and they're like, oh, what camera do you shoot on? And, they thought they could talk camera with me and
Oh,
they were
really?
hoping I'd be like, oh, the Sony A7RI Mark III or whatever, And then here
Rebel,
I
blah, 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 blah. That's all I know. Rebel, Canon Rebel. That's all I
Canon.
know.
Okay, well, that's a good like starter camera. You don't have to break the bank. But
Wait,
yeah, it
what's
was
not break the bank? Because I've seen like, what is it, like $1,000?
yeah, like less than $1,000.
Oh,
But
okay.
even less, maybe like less than 700. That's not breaking the bank.
Yeah, yeah,
Like my point and shoot was like 700, which I'm kind of like, why did I spend so much? I might as well just dove into the DSLR. But
yeah.
now I have a DSLR, but again, it was like influence, and maybe we can talk about like comparing yourself to others. But like it's like 3 months
Please.
ago, I was trying to like build my business because now I'm working as like a freelancer, and thankfully now I'm like full time my own boss. I'm very excited about
Nice.
that.
Congratulations.
Thank you. It's
We could
like
talk about that too.
yeah, but yeah, it was like not having the right equipment and then being surrounded with these people who knew about equipment, and it wasn't like comparison, but it was like, okay, Karla, if you really want to grow and take this seriously, you do have to invest. It's
Sure.
not,
You're right.
and I would always see it as like spending money, and then I was like, okay, I really need this camera because it's not only just like my passion, which is YouTube, but it's like my job with my clients. Like
Sure.
I can't show up with a point and shoot and be like, I'm doing photography for
No, of
you.
course. Yeah. Then they'll see, like, my cousin could do that.
Yeah, they're
You
like,
might
we
get
have
that
it.
even with the professional camera.
Or iPhones. Sometimes my iPhone shoots better
Oh,
content than a DSLR. That's when it like hurts my soul.
it's
Sometimes.
amazing. Like, I actually, I wanted to record some courses that I'd never started, but I was like, I'm gonna buy a camera, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that. And my friend's like, turn on 1080p on your phone. And I did it, and I'm like, oh shoot. Like, this is great.
Yeah. And I think that's like a lot of people ask me like, oh, I really want to start vlogging, like, but I don't have a camera and I don't have money for it. And I'm like, there's no excuse. That's just you making excuses, because there's been times I haven't had a camera, something happens and I
Mhm.
need to go on a trip or like a short trip, and I've just had to use my phone and I make it work. Like if I really want to shoot something.
Yeah,
Um so yeah, there's really no excuses to get started.
you're right. And ultimately, it comes down to the content.
Yeah.
Like, that's what it comes down to. Like, it's either enjoyable and entertaining and people are taking value from it, or it's not. It doesn't always matter how it's recorded, right? Like, even this right now, when I put these video ups, like, this isn't being recorded on 1080p or anything, right? So
Yeah, it's like context, like what you're gonna learn from, and like just the storytelling.
exactly.
Because I've seen, a, I remember when I started more so doing like the travel videos. I started doing it. I was like, yeah, I'm finally gonna do this, and then it hit the like, oh man, I don't have a drone.
Yeah.
And I remember doing this collab with this awesome creator. She like lived in Miami, so we got to do like we collabed, but from far away. We just sent footage to each other, and it just
Oh,
worked.
really?
It was like, oh, that was a different one, but it was just kind of like 5 things that you should do traveling in Los Angeles, 5 things in Miami, and it was so
That's
awesome.
pretty cool.
And like her and I are both great storytellers. And when I saw her footage, I was just like, oh my God, she has a drone. And I kind of didn't want to.
Yeah. You got that envy. You're like,
Yeah, but I was like, she has a drone. I was like, my video can't compare to this. Like, my video sucks. Like, and my video did not suck at all. It was great. I was so proud of it. It wasn't until I saw that drone footage, so I was like, dang it. Like, you're always wanting the best thing, but at the end of the day, like, both of our videos were amazing. Like, we got what we wanted from it. We got to collab, and we're like friends, and it worked out so well, you know. But yeah, at the end of the day, I think it's just storytelling, and that's what I try to focus on, especially because
that's all that matters.
I don't have all that fancy equipment.
The content.
How am I going to capture people's attention in the first like 15 seconds?
Yes.
And continue to do it in like the next 13 minutes. I think the 15 seconds is like the most important for me. Like, that's when you really grab somebody's attention.
100%. Now, especially today, right? And the way we consume media and all that kind of good stuff, like, it needs to happen within, even shorter than that. I mean, like, a pre-rolls and all that kind of stuff, like 2 seconds. Like, to get someone, we have like now like 5-second movie trailers. Like,
that, I mean, it's kind of sad, but at the same time, I'm like, okay, well, the benefit as a content creator for that, because people do want more shorter content, like time wise. I'm like, oh, okay, so I don't need to produce a 20-minute video.
Yeah, no, it's awesome. I mean, look at the rise of Vine. Like, you know, I used to spend hours just watching Vine videos.
Yeah, I would do the same thing. Now I do it with Facebook though. There's like 1-minute videos.
Yes. I do that now too. And I'm like, I love this. I'm just like, did I just spend an hour watching like 6-second videos? Like
6 second, yeah. It's so weird how it just disappeared. Vine, first off, like.
Yeah, but I mean, it really like launched the careers of countless people, and really it's when I think like real influencer marketing maybe started. Like,
oh yeah,
you know, like, sure, influencer marketing has always existed, period, right? Where it was maybe called spokespeople or something, but like Vine was like the rise of like the influencer and rise of all these cool kids that now have like King Batch and all these people on YouTube that I absolutely still love. I was actually watching like a bunch of King Batch videos. Like, I love this guy. Like, I love what he's done, and now I watch him on movies and everything. I'm like,
isn't it crazy how a lot of them did get like movie deals, or they're singers now? Like, one girl that I would watch was Lele Pons.
Yeah. She's from Miami, right? Yeah. He collaborates with King Batch and all of them. They're part of like the same little crew.
Yeah, and like now she like is making music, and I was like, okay, like that's.
I didn't know what kind of music is she. I didn't know she was making music.
Yeah, it's kind of like reggaeton in a way.
Oh my gosh, I have to listen to this.
I think it's very like girl empowerment. Like,
that's awesome though. She was always good. I remember her like she was a lot more like physical comedy. Like, she threw herself into like bushes and stuff.
Oh yeah. That's a good physical call. Yeah.
There was a guy, I think he's from New Jersey, another Hispanic guy. He plays the piano a lot. He's part of the same crew. I can't believe I'm forgetting his name. He's so ridiculously talented. I'll find his name and I'll share it in the.
Dude, that's the thing. There's so much content out there. Sometimes, like, I mean, again, like, I remember I was networking with somebody and I had seen their videos. They were travel videos, and I loved all their videos, but I couldn't like remember one that stood out. Dude. And it wasn't because I wasn't lying. And I'm not going to say the company, but like, I was just like, yeah, I love your travel videos. And then they're like, oh, what video did you watch? And I was like I blanked out.
Oh,
right?
yeah, it happens. I mean, yes.
And now looking back at it, I was like, okay, I know which ones I loved, but at the moment I was like, because I had only consumed a lot of their content through Instagram. Like, I hadn't really seen their full length videos. And I think that's what like the short content does to us. Is we're constantly watching that. We know we like watch that person. We're entertained by that person. But we don't like it. The name sometimes might not stick because
that happens a lot, right?
Hours of footage, you know.
How do you? I mean, at the very beginning, you were talking about like, you know, creating content, but also then essentially creating content and acting as a business yourself, right? Content marketing and influencer marketing, all that kind of good stuff, right? So like, you went from, you know, me just making a video to making like the top 10 things, right? Thinking about how Google and how people are gonna absorb this information and get through the clutter. Are you doing anything right now to get through that clutter? For instance, like Facebook ads or YouTube ads, or how are you, you know, trying to get yourself outside, or is it just organic?
It's just organic, which kind of at the same time, I know I should be doing ads, but I know what ads work as a consumer. And
Hmm.
I feel like some of the content that I've posted isn't going to make me like stand out for people to be like, oh, I want to follow her.
Makes
And
sense.
because a lot of like I'm posting daily on Instagram now, and I feel like that's a really good platform to kind of
Same.
use like a leverage to promote what I'm doing in terms of like business, but also like my YouTube content. So
Hmm.
I have been posting daily on there for like the past month already, at least 5 times a week. But a lot of it is photo content, and
Yep.
honestly, photo content as an ad does not catch my attention ever. It's like as a consumer, and I'm working with brands right now doing their social media,
Hmm.
and I did like an ad recently for one of the brands that I worked in. It was just a photo, and I
Hmm.
approved that because I really loved the message of the photo, and I think
Sure.
because it was like a woman entrepreneur.
Uh-huh.
And this photo and like her caption would totally. I was like, yes, I'm
This is
approving that.
perfect. This is gonna work out.
Yeah, but for the most part, like as a consumer, like for me, it's video. Like even if it's like a 5 second video of like an event, like hey, boss babes, if you guys really want to come to this event, March 12th, da da da, and it's like fast paced. I'm like, ooh, like what company is this? And
Yeah, yeah.
I follow them, and so I feel like my content, I haven't really because I've been balancing like my content, but also a full time job, like
Yeah,
full time
sure.
client. It's hard to produce video content all the time. Like
Hmm.
if I was posting video content daily on Instagram, that would be like my full time job.
No, oh yeah, it's hard.
I did it for like a month where I was posting more video content, and I did put an ad on it, and it was to promote like a series that I had on my YouTube channel.
Okay.
And I think it did, like I got a lot of followers, but it wasn't like organic engagement.
Got it.
And I just figured, you know what, I'm just gonna, the way that I do it is engaging with people who I want as like my perfect clients or
Sure. Yeah, like it was like the quality respective to you and how you want to grow and
yeah,
interesting.
exactly.
So you mentioned it earlier too, and you mentioned it just again, like having your own business on the side too. Like, how do you? Is it hard juggling both from like just the logistical perspective, but also maybe from a, let's say, marketing perspective, right? Like people see you as a YouTuber, not necessarily as someone who does social media or video production on the side. Like, do you have a hard time juggling
Oh
both
my
things?
God. Yeah. I mean, recently that, because before it was easy for me. I was working a full time job, so I can, on social, I could just promote myself as a vlogger.
Yeah.
But a lot of people ask me, like, and this is like behind the scenes, like, I'll get DMs, people asking me, well, how do you make like your money? Is vlogging your full time thing now? And I'm like, no, no, no. Like, I'm able to do that because now I do work remotely or I
Yep.
pick my own clients and
Yes.
like, I'm able
Less
to do
overhead, all that.
yeah, but it is hard to market myself. But surprisingly, I thought I was doing a bad job because I was marketing myself more as a blogger. But then just switched it to like I'm a vlogger and then like brand content creator because like there are brands that reach out to me and I would make content for my channels, but now I'm doing it for like their channels. And
Yes.
so I started using, and this is like the power of hashtags. Like I really didn't have to like completely rebrand myself as like a social media strategist as what would Karla say. Like I didn't have to do that. I just shifted like the hashtags, and then sometimes on my posts, like if I'm talking about travel per se, because that's like what my channel is about, or like personal development,
Hmm.
I always share that in the caption. I also talk about like, hey, I'm traveling, and then I mention the entrepreneur thing. Like not
Oh,
all,
interesting. Yeah,
but
yeah,
it's
I see what you're saying.
like
Sprinkle it in.
yeah, sprinkle it in because then people kind of get an idea. Oh, this is how she does this. And actually, a lot of my clients recently that I booked all found me through social media.
Wow, that's amazing. It's just inbound marketing.
Yeah, and I just asked them, "Oh, how did you find me?" And they're like, "Oh, like through a hashtag, like social media manager." And I was like, "That
That's
is so cool."
that's
Like,
amazing. That's very cool.
yeah, because I didn't think it would work. I recently, like, just a few months when I was working full time, then I shifted over
Hmm.
to freelance, and I was like, how am I going to market myself? And a lot of the content that I've shot for certain companies I wasn't able to use because it wasn't mine, right? Like
Sure.
I non-disclosure. So I felt like I was kind of starting from scratch. Like I felt like, what am I gonna do now?
Yeah, yeah.
And I realized I have I've built my entire YouTube channel. Like even that just shows that I know what I'm talking about.
Agreed.
So I just made certain little tweaks, and that really did help me. So like that's so awesome to see that.
That is very cool. Actually, I know lots of people that do consulting, like people I work with, people I collaborate with, like maybe just on a brand or something. Like if a brand hires me to do something and I can't do it, I, refer work to them and all that kind of good stuff. I've never heard of anybody getting it from hashtags. That's really cool. I've never gotten any business from any hashtag I've ever put. And
But
maybe there was something like someone saw one of my pieces of content and they saw I was involved with Oreo or something, maybe, and I just never asked, but
yeah, see,
not that I know of.
asked because I was like, well, once I randomly got a message, and this is one of my recent clients, and he's like, you could have just found me on LinkedIn. I was like, that's true. But see, because I do blogging, and this person was like, hey, like, I found you through social media, like, blah, 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 like, call me or email me. And I was like, call and email a stranger? Like, I don't want to do that,
Yeah,
And he
yeah.
on private, but like, I was kind of like, oh, like I saw like what he did, right? Like on the little bio, but I'm like, that could be a fake. I don't want to fall for it.
Yeah.
But then
That
I
happens
found
all the time.
yeah.
Half my LinkedIn invites, not half, 80 to 90% of my LinkedIn invites or Twitter invites or
Yeah.
messages are all fake.
Oh my God.
And
See, I
especially if you
don't.
have anything related to cryptocurrency.
See, that's what I was kind of like. I don't know. But then I was like, I'll email you, and then I kind of like did my research, but I was still a little like it was a startup company too, so I was like,
Sure.
I don't really have much history online. And then it worked out. I'm like working with them. But yeah, and then I asked them like, how did you like find me? And I was like, oh, because they were like looking for social media managers.
Yeah, interesting.
So they're like, it's like the power of like keywords, right? And that's huge on YouTube, and that's something that I learned.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Searching for like they're not searching for like have fun. They're searching like
No.
ways to have fun during the
Yes,
summer.
yeah.
So yeah, it was really cool that so like something on social media, which is what I do for a living, like is what got me my job. Like
That's
I didn't
amazing.
I didn't even have to like
That's very
go
cool.
way. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. It's just something you're doing organically. It's inbound marketing in its truest form and its best form and the way it should work.
Yeah, I always knew I loved the internet for some reason.
Yeah, right. What's funny is, in many ways, my pug is actually more popular than me on social media. And I got a call the other day from a lady, and she was like, "Do you have a dog?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And I'm like, "Does this lady did she find me through social media or anything like that?" And I'm
Yeah.
like, "Is her name Truth? Is she a pug?" She's like, "Yeah." And I had that moment where I stopped and I'm like, why are you calling me, lady? And it ended up being that someone was taking care of my dog and she ran away.
Oh
Right.
my
So
God.
thankfully, I don't even pick up like numbers I don't know. I let them go to voicemail or something, and then I
Yeah.
answer them. And I'm happy I picked it up. But it was funny because she is popular on social media, and I talk about her through all my social media. I'm like, is this someone trying to cold call me or something?
That
That
is
was
so.
my very first reaction.
So for a second, you thought it was like your dog, like famous dog. Like, oh, what, are they trying to get a hold of me because of
Yeah.
my
Yeah.
dog?
Yeah.
That
And
is
maybe
very
that was
Hollywood of
pretentious
you.
of me for some reason or something. I'm like, who's calling me? And the first thing they say is, "Do you have a dog?" And I'm like,
Yeah.
this is
that,
weird.
that is so funny because it just kind of reminds me of like I was living in LA for 7 years, and I'm not like famous first off, so I don't know how this would even get in my head, but it's good that like you have people that are keep you grounded. But I
Hmm.
went to Starbucks, and this had happened to my friend before where somebody just stares at him and they're like, you make YouTube videos, right? And so I was getting
That's
like
awesome.
that look that he gets when people ask him that. Mind you, he has way bigger following than me.
Hmm.
I got that like look at Starbucks where this girl was just like being super friendly, and there was something off about it. I mean, it's just a friendly person, right? But in my head, I was like,
Does she know me?
does she know me? Is it my YouTube videos?
That's
And so
amazing.
like I was making fun of myself for that, and so I like me and my sister tell each other random things. So I text her and I'm like, oh my God, so this girl's super staring at me. I think she watches my videos, but I
Yeah,
was like
yeah.
fun of myself for it. And my sister's like, oh yeah, Karla, okay, you're so
Yeah,
fake.
yeah, exactly.
And yeah, so it was just funny because I'm like, okay, keeping me grounded, keeping me grounded.
That's family will always do that. My
Yeah,
grandparents. Like,
but your
so
dog, like out of everything, like that's
yeah, thankfully I picked up and thankfully I asked her more because
yeah,
she's
it was just
fine.
a
She's
quick
okay
call.
now and everything. But yeah,
But one day you will get a call for your dog being in a movie.
that would be amazing.
Yeah.
It's funny. I won't mention the brand. My best friend works for a really big pet food brand. And I
Okay.
guess maybe I could. I don't know why I wouldn't mention this Fresh Pet. So the one
Okay.
that's in the fridge, it's like
Yeah.
the best dog food in the world. Buy it. No, but I want to make Truth famous and put her into every single one of these commercials, like ever. That's my goal too. And
You
then
have,
hang out with Vanilla Ice and have Fresh Pet in it.
or it's like you and Vanilla Ice are going to your pug's like photo shoot.
That'd be good. And then we could hire you to record it all.
Yes, I would be there.
Look at that. We'll have Vanilla Ice will fly you out, I'm sure.
Okay, yeah. We'll talk to him about it.
So the
This
one,
is great when you're actually friends with him and he listens to this.
oh, best friends though.
Oh, okay. Best friends, I love that. I
Maybe
feel like
I'm gonna like baptize his kids and everything, you know.
Oh wow, okay.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Uncle Leo.
Yes, and I have a name for like, you know, a Leo. Like Leo's an uncle name.
Leo, Theo Leo.
Theo Leo. So yeah,
Theo Leo.
it works perfectly, right? We'll get him to say that.
Yeah.
So there's one thing I always ask everyone is, and I'd love to, I can't wait to hear your answer, because especially the type of content that you make. As entrepreneurs, as content creators, as humans, sometimes you wake up and you just don't feel like getting in front of the camera. You don't feel like getting out of bed. Like, how do you get through those days? Or like, what keeps you going? What keeps you motivated? Is it a person? Is it just having this that's like bigger than yourself in many ways, an audience? Like, how do you get through those days?
For me, it's like, I guess my family, like my end goal is like being able to help like my immediate close family and being able to like provide for them, mainly because like my parents do come from a different country, and my mom has been able to really build a good life for her.
Sure.
And I think we're working hard often, and I'm like, if she can do it, what's my excuse, really?
Yeah.
To get up and really go out there and do things, especially because what I do, like I could have success at my fingertips.
Yeah. Yeah.
Make myself I self-made, right? I could go and make a podcast and hopefully like put it out there and be my own boss. So it's like I really don't have an excuse. Like I can't no longer say like, oh, there's no opportunities coming to me, because it's like I can make the opportunities myself. Obviously, like it's gonna take time to grow and be, of
course,
like, famous. I don't want to get I'm not trying to be famous, I do,
sure, but at least more popular to be able to make a bigger impact.
Exactly. Yeah. So it's just kind of having those people in my life who have made it themselves and have really worked hard, and me being like, I want to be that. Like I have a good example.
Amazing.
Yeah, but at the end of the day too, like my audience, I've been doing it for 7 years, and just hearing what I could provide for them in terms of like inspiration, because I feel like a lot of the times they see me as like, oh, like Karla, you inspired me to go out there and try something new. And so I went to go like jump out of a plane, right? Like they'll be like more extreme, like, oh, Karla, you took singing lessons. I went to go jump out of a plane, and then I'm like, whoa!
And
like,
I sang while I did it.
Yeah, but then I'm like, no, I inspired you. I just I just sang or something, or like went snowboarding, but you're jumping out of a plane. Like I would never do that, and now you're inspiring me. So then seeing these people, it's kind of like a support group, and it's like I don't want to let them down because they're like inspiring me in their own way.
I understand that. Yeah.
So that's why I continue to do the type of content I do, because I really love that feeling of having a group of people who are like inspiring each other.
Sure.
So yeah.
That's amazing. And what recommendation or inspirational things would you say to someone that wants to get started? That's someone who's never picked up the camera before but wants to do it. And
I would just say, honestly, for me, and I actually just wrote this on the Instagram caption, like it's gonna be scary. Like just know that it's gonna be scary getting started. But like what's more scarier is like not having given yourself the opportunity, like not even having believed in yourself or like tried it. And then continue like wondering, oh, could I have done that? And that scares me more, like not having gone out and do the things that I really love. So it's like, just know it's going to be scary. And once you get that out of the way,
then it'll be good.
It'll be easy. Yeah.
So first of all, I got to say thank you so much for doing this. I was so excited to interview you. I feel like I've had a Kool-Aid smile the whole time I've been on with you right now.
I love talking to you. This is a lot of fun.
Thank you. No, I have to say thank you. And thank you for just inspiring people and everything. So if anybody wants to find you, Where can they go? Like, this is the time I always get people to promote themselves. Anything you're working on, your business, where they could hire you, where they could follow you. This is all you.
Definitely. So I'm very engaged. If you want to talk to me directly, I'm on Instagram at WhatWouldKarlaSay. Like, if you respond to me, sometimes I even respond to you back with like a video message, just because I'm not a typer. So if you're asking me like a business question, like I'll send a video response sometimes. Like that's how like just casual I am.
Yep.
So if you just want to talk, like hit me up on Instagram. And if you want to see my content, I'm on YouTube and What Would Karla Say on YouTube as well.
Go follow her right now. Karla,
Yes.
thank you. Thank you
Thank you so much. This was a lot of fun, and I really can't wait to see Vanilla Ice. Well, Vanilla Ice on your podcast.
Vanilla Ice, we can't wait to have you. Love
But
you.
then I'm no longer going to be the best guest on.
You'll always be the best guest, and then we'll have you on. And remember, you're going to be part of this video too with Vanilla Ice.
Right. That's true. Right.
And he likes to be called Mr. Ice.
Mr. Ice. Okay,
Yeah.
I won't screw that up for you.
Bye, everyone.
All right. Bye.